Speak now to Andras Laszlo, who's a political analyst and joins us from the Hungarian capital, Budapest. Welcome to the programme. Andras, help us understand the objections from Hungary with regards to migration and everything that was discussed here at this meeting in Granada.
The objection is exactly the same as it was since 2015. Hungary and the Hungarian population, the Hungarian government doesn't want mandatory relocation plans. Such plans were already adopted in 2015 at EU level, the same way which was now in the report that with a qualified majority, EU ministers voted on the issue and not at a head of state and government level, where you would need unanimity. So what happened was you had a system of mandatory relocation of 160,000 illegal migrants across the EU. But what we've learned is two things. One, it doesn't work because no EU country respected the quotas they were given, meaning even countries which supported such a system did not fulfill their obligations by the time necessary. And the other thing for which it failed was that migrants do not accept the country of relocation. They will move beyond after a few weeks or months and try to get away from the country they were assigned to and go to the country where they originally wanted to go, which is usually the European country which provides most social benefits.
So just for clarity, when we say that there are objections from Hungary and Poland, are we being fair here, or is it also really, as you say, that the migrants themselves don't want to be in Poland and Hungary?
What I described was specifically the example when we already had mandatory relocations at EU level. This is what happened. Countries didn't respect it, even the ones which did support the system back then, and the migrants didn't respect the system either. So going forward with this debate is absolutely useless. It doesn't lead anywhere because there's already experience that the system doesn't work.
And so, Andras, what's the solution then? We've just had this meeting there of all 27 leaders, and you know the numbers. You see what's being reported, in Spain, in Italy, in southern Mediterranean countries. What do you see? What does Hungary suggest, for example, as a solution? Because as Ursula von der Leyen said, Team Europe, Team Europe. It doesn't look like there's a Team Europe today there in Granada.
Well, most of EU leaders, what they're talking about is managing migration, not stopping illegal migration. What the Hungarian government is saying and has been advocating for very long with other governments as well from time to time is that you can't really solve the situation without first having a total control of your borders. If you can't defend your borders, there's really not much to talk about what kind of legal pathways you provide because you can always enter illegally. Why would someone go and ask for legal permission to settle in the EU if they know they're going to be settled in a random country where they don't want to go? So the first step before anything else is controlling your own borders. Hungary was very much criticized for building a border fence towards Serbia because it's one of the main migratory routes. One is going into Italy and Spain via the Mediterranean Sea by boat, and the other one is a land bridge, let's say, via Greece, Serbia, and into Hungary and into the continent. And what's going on is that EU countries and Western countries say, well, we need solidarity. Everyone who doesn't want to take in on a mandatory base illegal immigrants or refugees, then what happens is that they should be paying other countries which do accept illegal immigrants. The problem with that is that, for example, countries like Italy or Hungary, we're supposed to protect our borders, the European borders, and at the same time, if we don't want to get even more migrants, then we should be also paying other countries. Well, that's impossible. The issue here is that you can't fix
But just to jump in, Andras, how do you expect Spain or Italy to protect their maritime borders? I mean, just in a few weeks ago, just in one day, 5,000 migrants arrived on the island of Lampedusa. How do you expect Italy to do that if it's not an EU, if there's not Team Europe behind them?
Well, there used to be bilateral agreements. There used to be EU-level agreements with third countries of holding illegal migrants back. Such a deal was struck with Turkey, such a deal was struck with Tunisia, but it's not understandable. Why is it okay for the EU to pay other countries to stop illegal immigration into the EU, but not pay European countries to defend their borders, which are also EU borders? What has been attempted was such deals with other countries. What we need is, in fact, stability in the Northern African region, which has been destroyed in the last 10, 15 years. We need to restore, we need stable governments with whom we can create partnerships and handle this pressure, the pressure of people who want to enter the European Union outside the European Union. Because what we see from experience yet again in the last 8 years is whoever gets in illegally, the chances of them being deported is like 1 to 10 or less.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time and analysis on the program today. Andras Laszlo, a political analyst, joining us from Budapest.